So while law is the profession, vintage and classic cars is my passion. The first Statesman event that I attended was in '94.
Okay.
But probably at one time I used to bring in about 12 to 14 cars. I used to get all of my lawyers also to be driving cars. My favorite is my Minerva Type A,
Yeah.
1938. So I would say that the Statesman event is probably the mother of all events in the country.
Sir, first we would like your introduction for the viewers, a small brief introduction, and about the passion for the cars.
So I'm Diljeet Titus, and I'm the founder and managing partner of Titus Museum.
Okay.
So while law is the profession, vintage and classic cars is my passion, and that's where I spend about probably 1/5 of my time every day
Okay.
on the passion side of it. It could be relating to reading something about a car, or buying parts, or discussing restoration with my restorers, or giving instructions to my staff at the farm on maintaining cars, or planning the next purchase, or planning the next restoration, or writing or research. So it's a big, this passion requires a huge amount of investment in time. And, if you're willing to sort of give time to it, a lot of research, then very good. Then
So since your profession is also very time consuming, so how you manage both your passion and profession?
So actually, whether it is chasing a car or buying it, restoring it, bringing it to the Statesman, Vintage Car Rally, or any other event, that's a great way for me to switch off
Okay.
from work and to unwind and to be able to sort of look at the finer aspects of life, and to look at and to be a part of a larger motoring brotherhood, a community, which I'm proud to be a part of. And there's so many stalwarts that have been around there, around us, from whom we learn. And then there's a younger generation that we have to sort of work with and to inspire and to encourage more to encourage it. There's a huge amount of passion amongst youngsters, and we're also encouraging a lot of DD members to take up this event. And thanks to Statesman that you have a prize for the DD drivers, so that encourages a lot of DD members to come into driving cars and taking care of them.
So can you brief about your association with the Statesman Vintage and Classic Car Rally for the...
So my the first Statesman event that I attended was in '94. So I was then working with documents in India, and then I remember it happened. We were in the inner circle of Kurot place for life, and I get gone there to just to sort of have lunch, and then we suddenly found all these cars parked over there, and so we thought, tradesmen, we'll have a look. So I remember we took some pictures with my hot shot camera, and we were standing next to a nice 1957 black colored Chevrolet Beret, and we went around and looked at all the cars. I remember the number of cars had Krishna Motor Garage plates on them, so we were all very enthralled. And then Krishna Motor Garage is doing so many restorations and fine restorations. And yes, so then '94 was the first, and then I wanted to buy a classic Bullet. I couldn't buy it, but then in '97 then I got my first car. It was an Austin A40, which was a car similar to what my grandmother owned. So it began with that, because cars sort of they symbolize in a way freedom, because for me, because I used to go to my grandparents' home, and then my grandmother used to take us out in those cars, and whether it was softy ice cream or a movie or whatever. So vintage cars came to symbolize in a way holidays and freedom.
So it was sort of a picnic for you?
It was a picnic, and then so the A40 was very sort of the Austin A40 was very strong in my mind. So that was the first car I bought.
Okay.
And then I bought a Chrysler Windsor 1947, which belonged to Mr. Diljeet Titus' father-in-law at one time.
Okay.
And then I picked up a lot of cars, and then So Mr. Dhawan helped me with some cars, Rajaman Shah helped me with some cars, Rasa, and then Mr. Diljeet Titus helped me with some other cars. So it's, I mean, helped me in the sense that they helped me acquire those cars. So that was one great way to sort of meet good people and be able to build up a collection also. And then incidentally, the car that I was standing next to in 1994 was amongst the first few cars that I bought from Titus Museum. His 57 Chevrolet.
So how many total number of cars?
So 94 is when my station started.
1994.
94. And then I probably started participating in the Statesman vintage car rallies from 2000.
In the year 2000, you started participating
With my own cars.
with your own cars. At that time, how many cars you brought for the rally in 2000?
2000 I probably had, I only had one.
You only
Yes,
had one.
I only brought one for the event.
For the
But probably at one time I used to bring in about 12 to 14 cars. I used to get all of my lawyers also to be driving cars. Lawyers, friends, mechanics, and I mean, everyone who could help me with anything. My brother Diljeet used to also help me driving cars. So I mean, at these events. Yeah.
So which year you brought the maximum cars? And if you
I think it was 2000, probably 2007 or 8.
2007.
Yeah.
So around 20 cars?
No, 12 cars.
12 cars.
12 cars. It was quite a challenge,
Quite a challenge.
but I enjoyed it.
So what was the interesting memories, if you want to share, which year you had a fantastic memory of this vintage car? And
I think the first one was the most, I would say, exciting for me because that was the first time I ever participated in an event.
in
My first ever event
Huh.
that I participated in was the Statesman vintage car.
that was in year 2000.
That was in
2000. It was the first event.
my first event. So it's
That
been,
memorable one.
memorable. I mean, I had bought cars 3 years before that,
Okay.
but then I was getting cars prepared and restored and ready for an event worthy of Statesman. So it took me about a year and a half to get the cars Statesman. But before that, as a spectator, 2000 onwards, and I think I've participated in recent events, whether it's a rally or 2 years we had to stay, so you was a part of this.
So since 2000 you are participating as a
As a
Participant.
about I think about 5 years as a minor sponsor also.
okay.
And then I've always enjoyed giving our calendars. That's a separate part of it. And then many years we also had a rock band coming in, special sponsor the band also at the YMCA at Little. So yeah, I mean, Statesman I think has been one of the great organizations which has helped to build the collector car hobby in the country. So what may have started in the late 60s is something which was, let's get everyone to be together and do that helpful drive and start off driving, I mean, as an event. Unknowingly, it created and helped people to be bound together as a community. So I would say that the Statesman event is probably the mother of all events in the country, both in East India and in Delhi. And we all look forward to it, and we all love it. And the great thing is that you can be there. You don't need to be a part of any club. You don't need to be a part of any group. It's free for anyone to join and go there. I think the way it's been organized and the way it's been progressively sort of better organized and better handled and the judging process is extremely, I think, professional and extremely fair and it's extremely well done. I think the great thing is that we've got again a bunch of educated collectors who are willing and who are present to be there to help out in planning it and judging it and scoring it. So that is, I think the event today has singularly been one of the most important reasons for this hobby growing to extend where it is. So thanks to Statesman for what it's done all the years and what it continues to do. And I mean, there is no other there is actually no other business house, no other newspaper,
Only the Statesman
which has done it
in the long run.
year on year.
Yeah. So which is your favorite, one of the favorite car which you love to bring in every year?
Yeah, my favorite is my Minerva Type A,
Yeah.
1933 Minerva Type A, which I brought on a number of occasions from the Statesman. And that is one car that I love and cherish, and it's something which it's just so grand, it's just so nice, and I'm so happy that I was able to acquire it.
So what are the major challenges you face in this restoration of the cars and all this?
So major challenges are, obviously every car needs to have a, what I like to do is to have a preventive maintenance schedule. So whether it is keeping the battery on a slow charge, keeping the radiator clean, keeping the brake lines clean, keeping the cars on jacks which will not be driving around for a long time because the way the tires crack. So air pressure, the tires, your oil tank, your fuel tank can develop a lot of sludge which can clog. So there's a detailed preventive maintenance kind of a schedule that we follow for our cars. Then there is regular maintenance depending on how the car is driven, something like broken or fixed. So that's a part of the regular stuff. I mean, it may sound easy, but then these old cars, they need time, and then it takes a lot of effort sometimes to try to look for a correct part. Like I said, we try to sort of keep our cars to as original as when it left the factory. What we've learned is that if there is something that should not be in a car, don't install it on the car. If there is something that should be there, and it's missing, you must ensure it is there.
So at present, how many cars you would be having roughly?
So I've got about 65 cars.
65 cars.
Which includes 65 cars, and then I've got a collection of motorcycles and scooters and motorheads.
So these 65 cars are all classic or they're mixed?
So they are the last, my cars run until 1958.
Okay. So all are classics?
Yeah, they're all classics.
All classic cars.
So these are Minervas and Studs and Bugattis and Rolls Royce and
Austin.
Auburn, Austin, Chevrolet, Cadillacs.
So apart from this, how many bikes collect you are also?
I've got 6 motorcycles.
6 motorcycles.
So 1911 Swift,
Swift.
and then 1927 Indian Chief, and then DSA 20, and then some other, I've got a ESD and a Java also. Scooters, I've got Italian Lambda and the Vespa, and I have a Mitsubishi Rabbit. Then a couple of motorcycles which I just recently bought, which I want to restore and then show.
So how many days it takes for restoration of a car?
So car, if you get down, so what we do is to first research as to what that this car should actually be. So we go around the car, we see what is wrong, what needs to be taken off, what we need to order, we then order all the parts. Once you order the parts, then we do all the mechanical work. So that includes overall the entire engine, the gearbox, the brakes, the suspension, the cooling system. We then take everything off from the chassis, we sand out the chassis, we paint the chassis, then mount everything back. Do all the body work, the wood work, paint work, upholstery, carpeting, chrome, glasses if anything needs to be done, the entire cloth braided original wiring, or if it was a later car, then plastic wiring of course. And then we try to use the right colors and the right materials and everything. So on average, through this process, it would take you about a year and a half. If you have to do it correctly. Yeah.
Okay. Then about the maintenance, we have to check with the
so we
drive
follow,
also.
Yeah, so we do a preventive maintenance, like I said. So on all 65 cars, which is what keeps my staff about 12 people busy. So we have to change oils every year, whether the car is driven or not. Because oil loses viscosity. So we change oils. And then I use low grade oils. So those we tend to keep a little longer.